Brewmates. It's time. It's time for that your favorite time of every fortnight. And it is called
Trapped on a Plastic.
the podcast for the miniature hobby enthusiast.
We're going to talk about some sweaty balls today.
I think that was our best intro.
Yeah, that's the best one yet. I mean, I don't know how we get any better than that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe by just leaving it to die and going right into the other part of the podcast. Actually, is not bad. All right, you're embracing the love of D&D. Sorry, love of undead in D&D.
Yeah, we're going to preamble ramble. Before we preamble ramble, I have a preamble.
Is there a preamble ramble?
Yeah. I came down the stairs of the basement when I got here this morning, and I looked over at the coffee table, and there was something sitting on the coffee table. There was actually two somethings. What were those two somethings that I noted, Scott?
Girl Scout cookies and Oreos.
Yeah, what do those things have in common?
They're both cookies.
Yes, particularly...
They're both hard cookies?
They're both hard cookies.
Okay.
He is a liar and a cheat. He is a hard cookie man. Don't let him make you believe otherwise.
I already told you I convert Oreos into the softest cookies known to mankind.
I don't see any glass. I don't
keep the milk glass down here.
Sure you don't. I don't believe a word you say.
They're the peanut butter Girl Scout cookies. Okay.
They have the hard cookie inside.
That's true. I suppose when I'm thinking of soft cookies, I'm thinking of chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I hear you say soft cookies, my brain just immediately goes to Chewy Chips Ahoy.
Okay. I actually have never really eaten those to remember what they taste like, so I don't even know what that is.
But you go to the store and you pick out cookies, and the cookies you pick from the store. I'm not talking about homemade cookies.
Can this topic die?
I just want to back you into the corner.
I like some hard and I like some soft, you know? You know, that's how it works.
All right, let's get on from this. I decide we're not talking about cookies anymore. Okay. Not you.
Okay.
So I've had Curse City and Stormgrave Blight Blutz. Is that what they're called? I think so.
Stormgrave Blight Blutz?
Yes.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I've had those on my brain lately.
But what are they?
Those are miniatures.
Yeah, but which ones?
They're the new undead vampire army for Age of Sigmar.
Oh, Soulblight Gravelords.
No. Stormblade Blight Blutz.
Okay, yeah. You had them on the brain.
They should really hire me to come up with the names of the armies.
I think so.
Oh man, you guys getting that new Star Collection for the Stormblade Blight Blutz?
That'd get everyone excited.
Hell yeah, I am. So I've had Undead on the brain. We're starting a new D&D campaign, Pathfinder campaign, and we're making characters. And I, of course, figured out that you can now be a half vampire in Pathfinder.
Why not a full vampire?
Because that would be too strong.
Oh, okay.
Because vampires that obviously murder everybody and get their way.
Hold on. What's a half vampire? Do you fight you with one fang?
No, it's in like your dad was a vampire. And he humped a hobbit.
Oh no, you're a half hobbit, half vampire?
No, I'm a half gnome, half vampire.
Wow, way to take the coolest thing and the lamest thing and put them together.
No, but he's a half, he's mostly vampire, so he looks like a vampire, but he just looks young and childlike because he's part gnome.
Yeah, I hate this.
Yeah, but he always looks like he's 16.
Is that a good thing?
That's pretty sweet.
All right.
Yeah.
Like a 16 that had a growth issue and is 3'11".
No, he's taller than that. He's 5 feet tall.
All right.
Because his dad's genes, the vampire genes, are so much stronger.
Okay.
He's just mostly vampire.
Okay.
And so I'm that. And then
I'm that.
And then you can play a sorcerer. And so I'm playing as a sorcerer. And why I would pick a sorcerer is because sorcerers have innate spellcasting somewhere in their bloodline. They don't look in a book to read spells and learn them. They just know magic. It just comes out of them. So that's obviously a vampire. Right?
Yeah.
And you could pick what your bloodline is.
Wait, is this a vampire thing?
This is a sorcerer thing.
Bloodlines for vampire for sorcerers.
Yeah, and there's all these different kinds you can pick, and it determines what kind of spells you can get and what you're really good at. And there's an undead bloodline.
Okay, come on now.
Oh yeah, baby. So I will have the undead hordes rise amongst me.
Yes.
And I just have to convince the other players that I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah. I think you can get away with it.
But I'm a bad guy.
Oh, you're going to be... Wait, so hold on here. How does that function inside of a cooperative game?
Well, I'm not evil because I'm going through this moment of not really knowing, if I'm good or bad or what's life all about.
Okay.
I'm like, my dad just abandoned me. He lives up in this huge castle. I don't ever talk to him. I have a stepdad named Ron. Ron's not my real dad, but
he's all right.
He's all right, I guess.
Is Ron a vampire?
No, Ron.
Stepdad, not
he's
uncle.
a stepdad.
Okay. I was like, this vampire's brother.
Yeah,
he's not a vampire.
He's like I don't know what Ron is. He's like he makes like horseshoes and shit.
Okay. So this vampire knocked up a gnome.
Yep.
And then the gnome divorced the vampire.
I think he just left because
then
he's a
remarried.
vampire lord. He
Okay,
doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, he just
about
does
Cynthia.
whatever. Okay. Oh, that's your mom's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
She doesn't care about Cynthia.
All right.
And so I got a quest for my own discovery.
Okay.
Who am I?
All right. Are you making a model for this character?
I'm thinking I might use I was looking at models. It's hard. I think I might use one of those the Warcry cool dark elf ones with like the cool shadow cloaks.
Oh yeah.
Canaanite somethings.
Yeah.
That's
Like
kinda
they're
cool.
assassiny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of dark and broody. And,
Are those Warcry models?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
Warcry warband.
I was just thinking, is there a dark elf thing for Underworlds? And there is. That's Mogwith's Blade Coven, which is the weirdest name. Mogweath. Mogwith. Or Mogweth. I don't know what
It's
it
a
is.
hard thing to say. They're all ladies, though.
Yeah. Lady! All right. Bounce it to me. Amber bought me this cute little orange. It was plastic.
An orange.
It was, yeah. But it wasn't the one you eat. It came apart into all the slices, and and inside each slice was a tiny food item.
Could you eat those, or were they also
No.
plastic?
So, imagine a ranch dressing bottle shrunk down to, I don't know, 10 times smaller. So it's like doll scale.
Okay.
So I had that and a garlic paste tube, which I did not know was a product in the grocery store. It's like a tube of garlic paste, and you can it. There's a tiny shopping cart. I love tiny things, okay? So I was very happy that she got me that.
Is it usable like a 72 millimeter?
No.
It's still too big.
Yeah. I would say it's doll scale for sure, which is you'd see it Hobby Lobby on in the back row.
Oh, yeah.
Like that kind of I don't know what size that is actually. Maybe that's 100 millimeter scale in our language.
Yeah, or they sometimes go by a ratio like 1/10.
Yes.
1/10.
I don't know how to map that. I don't know how to map 75 millimeter to a ratio. I know it exists, but I can't ever remember it.
Yeah. It's like when we go to Hub Hobby and we walk through the scale model rows and it tells you the scales, and I'm like, this is in Greek. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I can't picture in my head how big this is.
Yeah.
I can picture when you say 54 millimeter, 32 millimeter, 72 millimeter, dude, I can picture in my head about how big that is.
Yeah.
It's this, or this. You do with your fingers. You know that. When it's the USS Saratoga, 1/72nd scale, I'm like, I don't know, is that the size of a banana or a Ford? I don't know.
I don't know how big the actual USS Saratoga is.
Right. Yeah. I didn't measure it. I didn't bring my tape measure, and then to know, okay, then divide that by 72. And
Okay, to be fair, all model kit people, probably most U.S. naval ships at that scale are approximately the same size. So
size of a loaf of bread.
Yeah, So if you know, right?
It's one of those things that's probably not that complicated.
No.
But because you've never looked into it, and the only time it ever registers in my brain is when I'm walking by those things.
Yeah. To make matters even more confusing, miniature sellers will do ratios for busts. So we'll often see 1:10, 1:15. Those are the two I think we see most for busts. And I don't know what that means at all.
Yeah.
One's smaller, one's bigger. That's it.
Wonderful. I gotta measure my head and then shrink it. Okay, it's about the size of an egg. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Well, the tough thing too is because for us, when I'm looking at a model kit, I'm looking at for Greeblies, for stuff.
Yeah.
And so I've got to do another layer of mental math of if I'm going to use this for the gun turrets on the ship. They're going to be are they super, super tiny, or would they be bigger than the dude that's holding them, or because you're trying to figure out that scale compared to your scale, which is using a different set of numbers of how it works and try to make them fit. And you're I just eventually give up, and I'm just I guess I'm not going to buy it.
All right, you're a cyborg now.
I'm a cyborg. I've gone full cyborg. So this week I got my insulin pump, which now through the technology of science speaks to my constant blood glucose monitor, and it acts like an artificial pancreas. So it, for all intents and purposes, I have an organ in my body that doesn't work, that now robots work it. So there's that.
What I kind of want to see is like a little trap door that kind of opens on your body. It's like, and you kind of just like put like a capsule like inside of you, and that's like the insulin. And then every once in a while, it kind of pops out, and you pull it out and put a new one in.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably a more invasive surgery.
Oh yeah,
to allow for that.
Are you so obviously if you have that inside of you, you're kind of for cyborg modification. Are you actually though? Like, do you want your phone in your palm and your credit card in your palm? Is that what you're about?
No, I don't know. It would be great if I didn't have to carry it in my pocket. That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
You seen those? Like, it looks like a watch or like a thing like Fitbit like this, and then the phone comes out of that. Like what? That's the next level. Yeah, because they have that flexible screen stuff now. Have you seen that?
No.
They show it. They showed it off like Samsung or whatever, and it basically looks like a piece of like a clear plastic, like the screen protector that's on there, and it's fully flexible and bendable, and it's a screen.
Okay.
And so it's see-through, and then the screen turns on, and it's not see-through.
Oh.
And so it's just basically like back at school when they had the projector screens and they pulled them down.
Yeah.
It's basically that, but it's on there, and it like goes out.
Kind of shoots out.
And then it just rolls in. So that's the next step.
Okay. I think I'd be for like that kind of cyborg installation, as long as whoever is doing it isn't like
evil.
Yeah. You know, or in any way associated with the U.S. government.
Right.
Yeah, then I'm not into it.
Or any government.
Yeah, really any government of any kind.
You're like, the Russians did it. We're fine. We're good.
Yeah, we're good with that. We're good with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of medical breakthroughs that will be happening in the next 10 years around the connection of human and machine more intricately. And so I think for the betterment of the lives of people, that's great.
Right.
But also the world's overpopulated. So
what are you saying right now, John?
People just need to die.
Okay. Moving on. In the spirit of Preamble Ramble, all of my Preamble Ramble topics are actually related to the hobby, and John's are. My next one, what is wrong with me?
What is wrong? That's just the question. That's it.
Okay, I like to get deep. I like to be transparent about how I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. I feel like for the last couple of months, I feel like in the beginning of my YouTube career, I was a fucking hustler, you know? Yeah. I was getting it done, and I was totally okay. Baby. Yes. I had the theme song running. Mm-hmm. I was so okay with just like working a lot. And now I'm just like so lethargic all the time, so disinterested. And I'm trying to biohack my brain to like get back into like a semi-hustling mood. Because right now I feel like I'm like operating at like lower capacity, and I kind of want to operate at medium capacity. John solved my problems.
Okay, here's what you do.
Okay.
You watch the movie Training Day. Okay.
I'm kind of more of a Remember the Titans kind of guy.
And you need to look at Denzel Washington's character.
Okay.
And be him.
Okay.
Minus the being a corrupt cop and killing good people and other cops.
Okay.
Don't worry about that part.
Okay.
You just need to hustle.
All right.
Okay. I'm glad we had this talk.
All right. Good.
I think one thing that's helped me is maintaining, 'cause we're not obviously in the kind of same boat on this stuff, but like forcing myself to sit to a schedule. And it doesn't need to be a schedule necessarily of releases, but the more that I say, well, this thing on the wall says I have to do this, and if my brain works that if I didn't check the boxes for today or this week or whatever, I feel bad. Like I feel like a turd.
Okay.
So you're being a turd right now. So you need
feel like
to,
a turd.
But you need to have a balance with it though too. Like you can't be like every day or every week I'm going to spend an hour to write a list, and where the menial administrative tasks become too much of a burden that you can hold up to over time.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have some way that it's you have your own creative flexibility within it, but there's still this skeletal system of structure that you need to conform to. And in a given week, the checkboxes could be flexible enough. And I think this works for anybody in the hobby too. It's like, it can be, I need to put 5 hours into my Army this week. And how I'm feeling in a given week may fluctuate what I do with that. But I got to hit those 5 hours. So you got to say, this week, I really want to, get closer to making my next models for release. Okay, my goal is for this by the end of the week. My goal is that I have everything shot for a video. Doesn't matter what the video is. Doesn't whatever. I don't have to have it edited yet or whatever. Whatever excites you to sit down and film. I think that's because if I didn't have that, because if one day, some mystical fairyland day that I'm doing this full time,
mystical fairyland, whatever.
I know that I'm not good without structure.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be successful or productive or push myself to be better. So you just gotta watch Training Day.
Okay. That's what it all comes back
Moral
to.
of the story. Watch Training Day.
All right. Thanks for the advice. I appreciate it. I'll watch Training Day. Then I'll
You're gonna text me tonight at like 1 a.m. Dude, I just watched Training Day.
I'm so pumped.
I can't sleep. I got so much to do.
Speaking of Training Day, the last Preamble Ramble topic is I watched a movie. Does this not happen often?
Now, last weekend, the fam and I, we watched both Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2 over the course of a weekend.
Ooh, okay.
Because we'd finally finished up the Harry Potter series with my daughter. We've been reading Harry Potter to her every night at bedtime for like 2.5 years.
That's
to get through the whole thing. Right?
1 through, what is it, 7?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Almost like an idiot.
But there's 8 movies because the last book
yeah.
is put into 2.
Yeah.
And so it's taken forever, and she's become a huge fan of whatever. We finally got to the end. And so we sat down, and usually after every book, we finish a book, we watch the movie. So it's kind of her reward, and she really likes to point out the differences and stuff.
Yeah.
But usually I don't sit and watch the whole thing. Like we'll start it after supper.
Why not?
I don't do whatever because I got stuff to do,
Okay.
man.
Oh, you're on the grind.
I'm on the grind.
You're hustling. You're a hustler.
Yeah. I think of,
You watch Training Day every single fucking night.
Training Day, I just think Denzel, I'm King Kong.
I think of Denzel.
And, but I hadn't watched these in forever. And I realized it has been well over a year since I sat and just watched a movie, like start to finish, watched a whole movie. And
People give me shit for not knowing references?
Yeah.
Over a year, dude?
Well, in my defense, no movies have really come out in the last year. So
That's not true because there's Oscars for this year.
I know, but it's like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, nothing like exciting.
Less movies have come out.
Yeah.
I get it.
And I'm a big movie nerd. Like I love movies, and I'm just like, gosh, what the hell? I'm gonna watch movies, and I'm like, oh yeah, because I usually do that in my time, and I don't really have any of that right now. But I just was like, I need to make time, and I tell myself, oh, I've got all this stuff that's got to get done and whatever, but we all waste time in our days. We all sit on our phone for 15 minutes.
Yep.
Dick through Facebook and Instagram. We all like all that time adds up. I could be watching a movie, maybe not something for the first time, but a movie I really like and haven't seen in a while. Put it on while I'm painting or while I'm filming or whatever. Not when I'm editing because I can't do anything that's going on.
No, that requires full audio and visual attention.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta get back into movies, Scott.
Okay.
So
I'm into that.
I think
you should use Letterboxd and write tiny little reviews about the movies you watch and keep track of which ones you've watched and which ones you want to watch. You can have a little watch list. I love that app.
Oh, see, I haven't looked into that, but when I was
So much fun.
I was at college. My roommate and I were both big movie nerds, and we both had our ever-changing list of top 100 movies.
Oh, nice. Top 100. Wow,
Yeah.
that's hard to maintain.
So like we'd watch a movie, and we'd go back to our computers. And you sit there and like, oh man, does this fall in between Lost Boys and Princess Bride? Or no, it's not that good. Is it good? It's like, and so yeah, I'd have notes on everything and whatever, like why it fell where it fell and whatever.
Okay.
But that ended like, gosh, whatever, how many 15 years ago I stopped doing that. I probably still have the Word doc saved somewhere, but technology could help me.
It's so interesting you mentioned Princess Bride because I just watched that for the first time with Amber.
Oh.
And I haven't watched it in probably maybe like a decade or like 7 years, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is so funny.
It's so good.
It's so just like, there's just so many things that are just like subtly not right about the dialogue. It's like, okay, this is a fantasy movie, like whatever, but like, wait, what's going on here? Like, it's just like really weird things. It's so funny. I loved it.
There's no like wasted line in that movie. Like every line has some little part to it. And you're like,
yeah, it's really good.
Anybody want a peanut?
I want a peanut. I used to have a shirt that was all black and had like the hello tag on it, and it said hello.
My name is,
and then the whole white part said in tiny font, "My name is Inigo Montoya." Yeah, that whole bit.
My father prepared to die.
Exactly. I don't know what that shirt is, but it was cool.
Somewhere. It's somewhere. Okay. Are we on beyond the preamble ramble?
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say other things about movies, but
okay. No, we can talk. You can talk about it.
Okay. Letterboxd allows you to maintain a top 4 favorite movies. I don't know why they did 4. It's weird. But for anyone curious, and possibly if you're curious, my top 4 are Midsummer, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Scott Pilgrim, love that one. And I have Babadook here, but I think I might swap that out for Possessor because I really fucking like that movie. That's my top 4 right now.
Wow, that's a good top 4.
All right.
I have still not seen Midsummer, so
we gotta get a little PJ sleepover date.
I know
down
here. That was where my brain went next about the watch my movies. I was like, well, I know of a way we can do that. We make a drunken mini painting.
No, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, we be sleepy or we loopy.
Yeah. We would just like watch a bunch of hobby YouTube videos.
That's what we always do too.
Yeah.
Sit and watch YouTube videos.
All right, this podcast is gonna be 2.5 hours long. Let's move on. Woohoo! All right, well, we painted. John has the question in his little section. Does kit bashing count? I would say yeah, definitely counts.
Good, because I didn't paint anything.
That's fine.
Well, technically, by the time this podcast goes out, I will have painted something on today's live stream.
Well, don't dip into the next cycle.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Kit bashing is good enough.
Good. So, yes, I kit bashed something from scratch using only GW parts.
Okay.
So it's 4 main kits were destroyed in the making of this piece.
In the name of greater models.
Yeah, and it was kind of cool because when I'm hacking 4 kits apart and not having enough to actually use more of them for other projects, I now still have roughly 40 to 60 to 70% of each of those kits still unused.
Yeah.
So now like my bits collection is growing, and now I see, that would be good for something, not for this, but there's all sorts of great little things.
Little terrain sci-fi bits.
Yeah. Like cuz the one of them was the Dark Eldar Talos or paint engine.
Talos paint engine, or Chronos Parasite
Chronos,
engine.
that's the other one. And like it's got a sweet like scorpion hook nasty tail.
Yeah.
Didn't use that bit, but I like pulled it off, like unclipped it. I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be great for something.
And what are you kit bashing?
I'm kit bashing a defiler.
Okay. And why are you kit bashing that?
Because it's the stupidest fucking model I've ever seen. And it's plastic and it's like moderately new. It's probably 10 years old or more, but it is so derpy looking. Like by now my video will be out on this project, but I already know what my intro is gonna include. Like,
oh yeah, tell
my
me this.
skit.
I gotta hear this.
And does it
involve Daryl?
It doesn't involve Daryl.
Okay, I don't care anymore.
I also realized though recently that I need to say his name because I think only in the first time did I say Daryl.
Oh really?
And since then I don't like. John doesn't say what's up, Daryl, or anything.
Okay.
So that at some point, people know who Daryl is, but other people just refer to him as like redneck cousin guy, which is also great.
Yeah, that works.
But they don't know his name. So I'm like, I got to say Daryl more. No, it's going to involve me like pulling up either on my computer screen or on my phone, like saying, something like, okay, it looks like for my army list, this thing is badass. I'm going to put one of these in my armies. And I go to the GW website and I pull it up and it's just going to like show it on the screen, no sound. And then you just hear like, and then it cuts to my face going like, and then it cuts back to it going, and it's going to do that like 6 times. That's the whole skit.
I love it, dude. I love it.
It's so ugly.
Yeah. Is it as ugly as the corn thing where it's like basically a tank with like the torso of like a corn berserker popping out of like the hull? And it's just like,
it's the same.
Hello.
It's the same kit.
Okay. All right.
It's just
that makes
different
it better.
options.
That makes it better.
You want to make this ugly thing or this ugly thing?
Yeah. Those models are a fucking joke. They
Yeah.
both look really goofy. I'm sorry if you design them and you're offended. I'm sorry, sometimes y'all make bad things. I paint bad things. That thing just looks weird.
We have advice for you. Watch Training Day.
Yeah. So you sacrifice 4 kits to make one. What's it called? It's not a plague crawler. What's it called?
A defiler.
Defiler. The spidery thingy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it actually uses some other stuff that aren't part of those 4 kits, including that head right there.
Ooh, going with the whole bat motif.
Yeah,
Night Lords.
because it's a Night Lords thing. I wanted to have some. You broke it.
No, we're good. We're good.
I wanted to have some connection to bats, vampire-y, whatever.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that head is coming out and it's just screaming. And I put these like cyborg eye things. I found these little weird kits that they look like they're like spider eyes, where it's got a bunch of weird little bionic lenses on them, and I popped them over the eye sockets of the dragon.
Yeah.
So it's like it's gonna be like shooting light out of these bionic eyes in this morphed dragon head. And I was like,
I love
yeah.
it. Do you have a cannon coming out of its mouth?
No, that would be too far.
Yeah. Okay.
Too far.
Too
I
far.
don't have the tongue now that I look, because the tongue's connected to the neck, and I don't have that piece.
Oh, right. Yeah, you
make
sandwich
one.
it.
It doesn't have the tongue, but it has a big old, like a big nasty spider butt from the Venom Crawler, the Chaos thing in the Start Collecting.
Yeah.
And that's like its butt, and off the back top of that, there's a giant cannon that's coming off of that. Like his butt is stuck up in the air, like a spider with butt up in the air, and he's just big cannon, like
Yes.
ready to shoot you. But then in that the Kronos kit, it's got all those awesome tentacly things.
Yes.
So coming from underneath, like the spider, the big crawly spider legs, the tentacles are like coming out towards like its mouth. Like you get too close, you're gonna get bit. You're gonna get sliced by the little claws.
You get fucking beamed
and
with
you're gonna
spotlights.
get tentacle eyes,
Dude.
This
thing is gonna appeal to many Inc. 28 like people. I think like grim dark. Like if you the way I'm picturing it is very, very grim and very dark.
I'm and as of the recording of this podcast, I'm not like the whole thing is built, but I'm not to the fun part yet, which is the attach all the crazy greeblies everywhere, all
Okay.
these weird little things, and I green stuffed a whole bunch of coils and stuff.
With the green stuff spring thing,
The roller.
Yeah.
Whatever, tentacle maker, coil
Yes,
maker.
exactly.
And so I sat one night and I just did a whole bunch of those in different shapes and stuff. So I'm going to chop them, put them various places. And then I'm going to take the crackle paint stuff that GW has. You can get it from other places. And spots where like the organic matter hits the mechanical stuff, I'm going to like glob that in there. So it's like it's crackling and it's gunk and everything, because this is Night Lords, right? That nothing's new.
Nothing gets fixed.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we're gonna talk a little bit more in the after party about some new things that I tried.
Well, hold on here. How do you know about Night Lord lore? You looking around? You peeking?
I'm a little lore curious.
All right. Previous lore hater John Nunez.
John Nunez.
So you messaged the Brain Trust while you were doing that, and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll tell you when I figure it out. Do you feel like you figured it out?
I did.
Okay, cool.
I did. It comes in a point where you have, I want to have this big chunk. I want to have this big chunk. I have this big chunk. I don't know how to make them come together.
Right. Come together.
Yeah. And so basically just I came to the point of realization that I'm not going to know. I just need to connect stuff.
Yes.
And then just add more shit on top
And then
until it looks
hide
good.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I do with conversions. I like to pin things into the things I want them to connect with, and then I'll start Then I'll hide the connection with like milliput, and then I'll like sculpt on top of that hidden connection, and then go from there. But you gotta have like that good idea in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what'd you paint, Scooty?
I painted the skin on my zombie dragon in last stream, and then also painted some more. Amber has been getting into doing some art, and so while she's doing it, I was painting more of the skin and kind of just cleaning up all the little bone areas, just base coats, and prep for an oil wash in today's stream.
Ooh, boy.
Started painting my kill team, and I worked with Montana spray cans for the first time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I want to talk about that in the after party, what I learned and what I experienced. But I will say the chrome spray paint was banging, very shiny. But do you see can you see this chick's eyes anymore?
Oh,
maybe a little bit.
That is definitely that's settled into the details.
Yeah, so I think maybe that might have obscured some details. So I need to be more careful about how I apply it, or maybe more careful about what I apply it to. Maybe it's for certain things, but not for other things, like a model with a face, for instance. That's kind of an important thing you don't want to mess with.
I don't mess with the face, Scott.
Yeah, I only have 2 models that have faces. Wasn't that big of a deal. And then I did a little Tamiya clear red on top of that, and then an enamel panel liner, and my God, did that work so fucking well. I have not cleaned this with white spirits. It is just straight up. Like, look at the backpack, bro.
Yeah,
it's so nice.
That's crisp.
It's so crispy, and it was so easy. The one concern I have now is that I basically primed the model in chrome, and now I have to paint all the other things that aren't metal with normal paint. And what I didn't realize about Sisters of Battle, unlike their male counterparts, Space Marines, and they are the same fucking thing, they aren't covered in power armor. They got tons of fabric, and like they have like a corset thing that's on their abdomen. So yeah, I think that was maybe a bad choice, maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how annoying it is to paint. And then I painted I started to base coat some skin tone on some Sister Repentia and some Arcoflagellants, all for my kill team. I fucking love that pose in that model.
This is one of the. I just love this.
I love that chainsword. It's so long.
I know, and it's got a cross hilt on it too.
Oh baby, yeah. It's just the right kind of religious zealot that I like.
Yeah. She's wearing her Adidas.
I know, dude. She's fine. She's like, dude, I don't care if I die. I'm killing some fucking Xeno scum today.
Is my eyes deceiving me? Is there some texture buildup from whatever you primed this with?
Yeah, there is, and I want to talk about that in the also what I learned section. Struggle with some texture with the Montana spray cans as well.
Ruh-roh, raggy.
Yeah.
Well, let's just stick around to the after party. If you are a member of the Patreon, you get access to roughly 30 minutes extended episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna hype that now instead of the end of the episode, as well as the end of the episode.
We also get extra loopy in there because there's no rules.
No rules, just fun.
All right. Before we get into the main topic for today's podcast, we have a little message from today's sponsor, and that is Level 52 Studios, or Broken Anvil Miniatures, as they're known in the miniature hobby.
All right, Scott, you know how we adore our Cheese of the Month Club, right?
Dude, my colon is so clogged. I do not care. What are you getting at?
All right. So if somebody offered that same kind of monthly deal for miniatures, wouldn't that be even better?
Yes. Well, it just so happens that the folks at Broken Anvil Miniatures not only share our love of dairy, but also the love of getting something new and fresh every single month.
That is why they have concocted Broken Anvil Monthly, where every month you get a new collection of offbeat, epic miniatures that you can use for your gaming table and your painting table.
I also appreciate the name because it's like Broken Anvil Miniatures versus Monthly. That's clever.
Yeah.
Always got to appreciate a good name.
Yeah, good name.
The STL files all come pre-supported and ready to print at home. And each month you either get a cool sci-fi or a fantasy design with a wonderfully wild twist that Broken Anvil is known for.
I have been having a blast with Broken Anvil Monthly.
Oh?
And when I say having a blast, I don't just mean the block of cheddar leaving my system. I mean the sheer amount of fun that I have printing and painting new stuff every month.
Check out the Broken Anvil monthly Patreon. They'll be linked in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or the show notes for our audio listeners. Also, if you missed out on the Dungeon Delvers Kickstarter, you can find all those awesome designs on the Broken Anvil My Mini Factory site, also linked down below.
A big thank you to Broken Anvil Miniatures for supporting the podcast and enabling Scott and I's cheese addiction.
Hell yeah.
Now, back to the episode.
Now back to the news. Back to Kathy with the weather. The system is down.
The news sounds sound like the strong bad techno.
All right. A question that I've gotten maybe once. Now, I've gotten it a couple times. It's like, Scott, I'm moving to a new area. I'm moving to a new thing. I have an opportunity where we're renovating a room. What do I need to do to make the ultimate hobby workspace? This question actually comes from Anthony.
Anthony, I got the answer for you, Anthony. You watch Training Day.
I love this thread we're following. This Denzel thread.
King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Okay, I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, man.
Let's just put that out there. But I
is-
love Denzel Washington.
It's one of his best roles ever, man.
Really?
Yes. Like, he is such a powerful character.
He is.
And he makes so many mini painting videos. This is why you need to watch it.
Oh, it's related. Okay, yeah,
Right.
We're good. We're good.
The whole movie is based on how he becomes a YouTubing star.
Wow.
Right.
Very
And the
on topic.
training day is the day that he trains to get ready to make his next video.
He trains one day.
One day. He's a hustler. He only
That's
needs
all
one day.
Right, yeah. He doesn't sleep.
It's really just a day in the life of the training.
Okay.
That's the movie. Synopsis. Sorry, spoilers. Sorry if you haven't seen Training Day.
He's ruined it for
I
everyone.
ruined it.
All right, the ultimate hobby workspace obviously means you need to have every single amazing tool known to mankind, right?
Yes, that is the short answer.
And you don't have that, you just can't paint models.
Yeah, you're not going to paint a well at all.
Yeah, and you're screwed.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're joking.
We're joking.
Okay, John, ultimate hobby workspace. You essentially, you just made one this last year.
Yeah, it's not there yet, but like it's something where I don't think you ever need to rest on your laurels that like your space is going to be this and never change. So I
Sure.
think the first thing that I think of with this is I never put it at the top of my priority list. It's never like the top of my mind, but every now and again I'll be like, oh, it'd be nice if I blah, blah, blah. Or what if I could switch this? Or
Yes.
what if I added this? Or what if I just took this away? This is not working. Think of this as an evolving thing. You're going to be painting for like 70, 80 years, okay? You need to know that it's going to evolve with you and your needs and your painting style, all that good stuff. So it's a journey. It's
You know
not a
what this reminds me-
destination.
You know what this reminds me of?
Training Day?
A classic quote from a legendary mini painter who said to be proactive in the process.
Yeah, God, who was that person?
I don't know.
I think people just called him Mr. January.
Is that a Training Day reference?
No, it's from the calendar.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, you're right. We haven't talked about that. That's
Yeah,
kind of funny.
I meant to bring that up in the Preamble Ramble, but we'll interweave it at
January.
some point.
I fucking love that. Yeah, so I think what John's saying is just like kind of be aware of what your needs are, and as they change and grow, change your space to match those, changing needs.
Yeah, and that's not the meat and potatoes of what we're going to get into in the
Yeah,
today's
no, we're
topic.
done. We're actually done.
It's more of a keep this in mind, but you still need to start somewhere. You need to get your skeletal system of your space started or envisioned, even if you can't build it right now.
Right.
You need to start that thought process, somewhere to start, and this is the evolution after you've just got yourself going.
Yeah.
And if you've got a kitchen table and a light and a paintbrush, you've already started. So now it's what would be the next step from that?
Yeah. Maybe this topic is a little bit more indulgent, but I guess to say it right in the beginning, we're not saying you need this space to paint models. Like John just said, you could do it with a kitchen table and your overhead fan light. Like, yeah, that's all you need. You can paint outside with the sun. You don't need this special stuff. But if you have the opportunity and you have a little bit of a budget and you want to make a nice space, consider these things.
Consider these things.
I think an important thing for me was having things nearby that I use often.
Yes.
And it's almost like a tier list, right?
Yes.
The more often it's used, the closer it is.
Yes.
Now, it's a little bit different because for YouTube and filming at this space, I often have to put things away.
Yeah.
So
And
like,
they're not right here.
They're not right here, but they are right behind me, and I know where they are, and I can get them out. Like if I need my brushes, I just grab my whole little box.
Over the
Let's put it out
course
there.
of a project, though, they become here.
Oh yeah, yes. This is totally messy. It's disgusting. But a lot of things, like if you have to keep doing something and you're annoyed by it, like just consider putting it closer to you. So for instance, like an underslung paper towel roll,
Oh yeah.
Underslung vaping.
Keep your vape
Keep
nation
your vape nearby. Just take it out and just a little suck. Baking paper. So I have both of those right below my desk because I often have to use those, and they're just really easy to grab. I don't have to go upstairs, steal my wife's baking paper that she has in the kitchen, and cut it and bring it back upstairs. That's just annoying. I'm curious, do you have anything in your desk area that you are annoyed by that you have to keep getting out and putting back that you're frustrated by? Because I have one in particular.
Why don't you share yours and I'll think about mine, because that's a good question. I haven't thought about it.
My Dremel, I use almost every single project at some point, mostly in the assembly process. I have to get it out, use it, unplug it, and then coil it back up in the case and then put it back in there. And it's every time I do, I'm like, I need to find a place for this to live because it's so annoying.
Yeah. I'm in a similar boat with my Dremel. I have a amazing cordless one.
Oh,
It's got a charging dock, but this sits up in my shop in my garage.
okay.
And it hasn't found its way down.
Dude, cordless would be nice.
Dude, it's so nice. There'll be a link in my video description of my exact ones.
Nice.
you
Yeah,
can buy
absolutely.
it.
There was
It's
a
not that expensive either. It was like $60-$70.
Did you see a KS or a Kickstarter? I can't say Kickstarter very well, so I abbreviate it. For a little pin one?
I've seen that coming through Facebook all the time.
Yeah, a viewer actually emailed us about that. And I was like, this works. And it kind of goes slowly, which is actually great for the hobby because then it doesn't melt plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways.
I think it's more like a hand drill, electric, your little pin vise drill.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at the Kickstarter yet. I'm sure I will, and we'll probably back it. But because I can't be asked to manually twist the little hand drill. So yeah, in this kit bash project, I have had to bring it downstairs from the garage, and I forget. I got all my little attachment accoutrements, and I was like, oh no, I need the buffer one. I need the little diamond tip thing. I got to keep going back up, and then I use it for a couple days. And I'm like, oh, the battery's low. I got to go take it back up and charge it. So that would be one. Actually, another one for me is what I consider my airbrush little kit. So I have this little basket that's got, my airbrush cleaner, my squeegee thing with water, my thinner, my primers are all in it. All the little stuff that whenever I'm airbrushing. And that's tucked away in a drawer further in the back than I probably should be, in a spot that I have to get up, move over, and go dig around and find it, whatever. And that needs to be more efficient.
Yeah.
I feel like I would probably jump to doing little quick airbrush techniques or tasks more if that wasn't such a barrier.
Okay.
People typically will just put paints, right? They put their paints right in front of them, the closest thing.
Oh yeah, on the cool shelves and stuff.
Yeah, which is, I think, the reason that you do that, one, is to look cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you need to have
Swag.
the wall of colors.
Oh, yeah.
And the more colors are on your wall, the cooler you are.
Yeah, I agree. I should get a second one of these units and just put all the overflow in there that I never use, just to look have massive clout.
Yeah. This needs to be all visually accessible to anyone who enters this space. But the true fact of the value of that is you're not digging in drawers to find a color. You're not opening containers, what's in there, pulling them up to try to find the color.
They're visible.
Yep. It's all about cutting out all the extra time. And if I were to say that there is one thread that's going to go throughout this topic, it's going to be about time saving and breaking down the barriers that just get you to what you want to be doing, which is putting paint on Mini.
Which is kind of the same thing, right? You're more inclined to do something if it's not going to consume a certain portion of your time that you deem as worth it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that same vein, some level of organization is a good idea. I don't think you need to go crazy with it. I'm not organizing my paints by hue, but I am organizing them by kind of type and also especially manufacturer.
Yeah.
So Scale 75 is on the bottom, right next to Dark Star. Above that is Citadel. Above that is Vallejo and P3, kind of the weirder paints I don't use. And then all the way over to the left is all the washes and transparent stuff like inks and Tamiya panel liners and things like that. And then above even one more is additives like mediums, waters, thinners, things like that, and also other weird stuff.
You got all of that right, and you didn't even turn around and look at it.
So I know, baby.
I think that's a really important point, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your organization system is. The organization system. Ooh, that's hard to say.
Yeah, that's hard.
The one that you should use is the one that makes most sense to your brain.
Yes.
And whatever that is, it does not matter as long as what's logical for you. That you know, okay, I need to get my big synthetic brush. I should be able to close my eyes and know and see it where it's at.
Heck yeah.
Even if it means I gotta walk over here and grab it out of the drawer. Wherever you know where things are. And you don't need to know all the exact specifics. I know exactly where this color of this brand of this blah, blah, blah. If I know where to look, I'll find it. That's really, to me, the most valuable thing of any space. And if you don't have a big space, you're still going for the same goal. You're still trying to determine, I've got this little, this wheelie three cabinet drawer thing I see a lot of people use. Vince has one of these too, where it's like it takes up a little bit of space. It's like 3 shelves tall, and you just know which shelf your thing is in. You could be in a little closet, and you'd have enough space for that.
Yeah, so I'm trying to move my mic out with my chin by pushing it like an animal.
Yeah, you're like a dolphin.
So yeah, name of the game is I want to be as productive as possible. I need to organize my space to facilitate that productivity, and one way you do that is via organization and having things close to you. Eliminating excuses that one might have for getting started is a great way to enhance, or at least I think, enhance productivity.
Yeah. To me, another thing that I like to do is I like to make sure that no matter how much space I have, I want to be able to accomplish multiple tasks at the same space. So Vincey gave me a hard time a little while ago about the size of my cutting mat. Like when I was on his reveal show after one of the recent GW reveal shows, I was on there with him, and he saw in my background I had a cutting mat, and I think it was this size. Might have been a little bit bigger.
It's too big.
He's like, "What are you cutting with a giant mat?" I'm like, "I have a mat that will fit over my workspace, so I never have to get a cutting mat out."
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you do more than just cut on a cutting mat.
Yeah, Vince.
Come on, Vince.
What are you thinking?
Yeah.
And then I bought a big giant roll of black paper. I don't know. And then I can roll that over the top. And this is all in the same spot. So in the same spot, I can paint with a neutral background. I can airbrush right in that same spot. And if I get airbrush spray everywhere, I just eventually tear that paper up, put a new one down. I can cut because underneath that paper is the cutting mat. I don't have to worry about leaving that. I can film there because it's got a fairly neutral background, and so I don't have to go to a different spot. So whatever I'm doing on that space, I don't have to leave, or I don't have to add a thing to it. I don't have to go get this to whatever task I want to complete in the hobby. Any of them can be done in this space.
Oh gosh.
I tried to finish that sentence before the cough came out, and it didn't work.
Okay. So the moral of the story, you got an airbrushing booth, you got a little assembly area, you got a little paintbrushing area, you have it all nearby.
Yeah, and I do have a separate spot with a little airbrush booth off to my right for where I usually sit, where I'm doing like more intense airbrushing. I'm going to just like prime like 20 models and stuff. I want to get that fan running and do it over there. But if I'm just shooting some inks to just get some tint, or I'm filming a certain section of just the white zenithal or whatever, I can do that all in my main spot.
Okay.
I don't have to I got to get the paper out so I don't overspray everything and blah, blah, blah. It's just on there.
Okay.
So again, you're making your spot consistent. So whatever part of the hobby you're doing, you can do it here.
Okay.
I don't need to go down to the basement to do my priming. I don't have to go outside to do my priming. And if you only have rattle cans, don't do that at that space. So
yeah.
You do that outside.
Okay.
I had another one I was going to say. Now it just completely lost me.
Okay.
Yeah, you got something?
Well, I was thinking maybe we could share our organization that we've done to hopefully maybe like kickstart other people's ideas, because that can kind of be a little bit of an overwhelming thing, especially if you have a lot of stuff to organize.
Sure. To me, the most important factor in this space was that it was a space just for this, that I didn't need to worry about it having another purpose. And so it can just live, and I could go and sit down and everything is there. So from a basic level, at the very beginning, you need a spot. And we might not all be there wherever we're at in our life, but the goal is a spot, even if it's a folding table over in the corner, that folding table is there just for my mini painting.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have a puzzle on it. And it doesn't have a bunch of Legos for my kids on it. And doesn't need to be picked up and put away, every evening. Because if you've got to set up and break down your spot before you paint, you're not going to paint very much.
Yeah, you'll paint less, for sure.
You're not going to be like Denzel.
In training day.
Yeah, in training day.
If you weren't catching the reference.
So yeah, that's like checklist number one. If I'm like, someone's like, I'm brand new to mini painting, I know nothing. What do I do to have my mini painting space? That's a number one on my list. Can you create a dedicated space? And you can get as creative as you need to be with that to allow it. And if you can't, how close can you get to having a dedicated space? So that's my first thing, is dedicated space. This is the altar of the painting gods. It shall not be
desecrated.
Thank you. All I was thinking was sanctified, but that's the opposite. It's desecrated by other tasks.
Yes.
Now, if you got computer monitors up there and you can do your gaming or whatever while you're streaming or whatever you want to do while you're painting, great. Well, that's not necessary. The key is like, you're not having to clear off everything from your painting crap in order to play Dota.
So that's what I want to talk about, is computers in hobby spaces.
Computers.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you think the average Joe needs a computer, like not a laptop, not a cell phone or a tablet, like a tower PC that has a monitor is built into the desk? I say no.
No, I don't think so.
If you want to like listen to something that requires a computer, bringing a laptop, obviously, or your phone, like that is more than adequate. But I would say having access to a computer is just like an element of distraction, like that. I think that pathway should be just severed. I don't think you need it at your hobby desk.
Yeah, it is. It's a big distraction, and you can easily fall into something else. You sit down there at the desk with the intention of painting. Yeah. You get your stuff out, and you wake up your monitors with your mouse.
Discord chirps at you.
Before you know it, 20 minutes, 2 hours have passed,
yeah,
and you haven't been working yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't, or if you have one, you should rip it off the wall.
Yeah, don't
throw it away.
Right.
You just need to be very aware of what you're spending your time with when your intention was to sit down and paint.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoy the times when I just listen to music and I put my phone upstairs and I turn my monitor off and just sit here and paint. I think that really is unlocking a level of productivity that you couldn't get if you had a bunch of things just annoying you all the time.
Right.
But that's not necessarily related to a space, more kind of like of a preparing for like a painting session kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of the goody peepees do listen to the podcast while they're hobbying.
Yeah, cell phone.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Because
they're listening to our stuff.
Yes. Right now, you're painting the eyeballs of a Cadian soldier, and that's awesome.
And John just fucking blew your mind.
Yeah.
Because of how clairvoyant he is.
Yeah. So, Kyle, keep painting.
Dude, if there's a Kyle painting the eyeballs of the Cadian soldier, dude, you gotta let us know. I will pin the shit out of that comment.
Oh, man. So, in a podcast, and I view Twitch streaming of mini painters that kind of in the same regard, that I'll have that going while I'm painting, because it doesn't require active attention.
Yeah.
I can still be focusing on my work. I'm hanging out with the goody peepees. Listening to all the cool things they're doing. I'm hearing their discussion or their topic or their advice on something that they're doing, and I'm kind of like passively just like sucking up new knowledge, but I'm also painting. That's good. I'm not sitting there and like playing a video game while I'm trying to paint, because you're just too back and forth.
Yeah.
Or same thing with like, I'm not watching a movie or a TV show I've never seen before. I'm watching The Office for the 19th time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't need to be actively engaged to enjoy and follow along and still get my hobbying done.
That's true.
Distractions. That's a good one, man. I hadn't thought of that, but that's a real thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, I think we should delve into the specifics of organizations a little bit.
Okay.
So the way I have it broken down is I have painting tool apparatuses in the same area. So airbrushes, paintbrushes, cruddy ones and good ones. That's kind of in an area.
Yeah.
I have all my terrain stuff in an area, and they're organized via terrain size. So like when you buy like a Tufts, they're like a little piece of wax paper that's pretty small, right?
Yeah.
But you can also buy clump foliage and like bigger spongy material, and you can also buy even bigger things. So I have all the small things together, and I have all the medium things together and all the large things together. And that makes it easy to find because the small things aren't floating around amongst the big things.
Yeah, you're not like digging and digging and digging.
Yeah. So that's how I work it. I have paints in an area all by themselves, and I have terrain making materials that aren't grassy things like styrene, like brass, like bamboo skewers, like tongue depressors, like all that stuff, and like milliput, all that in its own little area. Mm-hmm. And whenever a tool is like used with something, like for instance, sculpting tools like color shapers or dental tools, that is also next to or nearby the materials, so they're easy to get.
Sure.
Okay. And then I have all my tools organized. Things that cut are all together. And then like miscellaneous tools are together. And then like files and sanding things are together. They have like a similar purpose. I put them together. Mm-hmm. And I also use these things. I think you use these as well, don't you? These little boxes off Amazon that have like a U-hook on one side that can be like hooked and arranged in different sizes. You can do like 1x1s or whatever it is, and like 1x4s to deal with whatever size thing you have. And it's great for a square drawer because they're square and so they all fit in. Everything's nice, you know?
They connect so you can, mine, I just have them lined, and I have a couple of bigger drawers that are just lined with them, and I don't take them out. They're just, everything's in their own little container. It's separated.
Yes.
But they have the flexibility. If you had one you bring out a lot, you can just grab this and go. It's also a sound investment thing because if you don't have a big space that you could fill a whole drawer with them today, you can take them in a more mobile way like this in the meantime, and then one day, if you do have drawers of your own to use, you already have the things to fit in there.
Yes.
So I have a very organized system for
let's hear it.
my drawers and my terrain as well. So first of all, I have 2 totes that have terrain stuff. One of them is organic, one of them is inorganic. So
Sure, yeah.
I organize them by this stuff is all related to whether it would be fake dirt, fake grass, fake trees, fake organic shrubberies.
Kind of like almost like fantasy versus sci-fi a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
But and then the inorganic has got the little bricks. It's got all my styrene tubes and cards and all that kind of stuff.
That glorious thing you bought off eBay that I will never use all of.
Yeah, I think for like the second time ever, I used some of that on my kit bash.
I use a lot of it, okay? And it's endless.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of styrene stuff for natural things. I've got like my rollers for cobblestone, green stuff rollers for that kind of thing.
Guitar strings, nail art beads.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it manufactured or is it natural? That's how I organize in my 2 different things. Mm-hmm. That way I know immediately which one I'm grabbing because I know in my mind what I'm going for.
Okay.
That's that. My drawers I have a little bit of a weird system that's developed, and I didn't do it consciously with my paintbrushes. I've got a little glass with paintbrushes in it, and I also have a paintbrush drawer. The paintbrush drawer is a repository of brushes that I either haven't started to use yet, or I've used them, but I don't use them regularly now. Like old Winsor & Newtons that the tip is gone. But so it's not my active daily driver brush anymore. Mm-hmm. But I'm not getting rid of it. I don't really know what the purpose is. It's kind of my backlog. But then my at arm's reach is my bowl of regular users. And then as I go through a project, and I'm using a brush, I set it down just off to the side, and every different brush that I use just goes off to the side. That way, once it's used, it's resting on its side and not up and down as it dries out. So then once a project is done and I'm cleaning everything up, which is an important step at the end of a project.
Yeah.
Is to re-clean your whole area again to start a new project.
Yes.
Those have all been sitting and drying. All the moisture is evaporated, and then they can go back in the cup.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of my system. And then I have basically 4 drawers full of crap, but they all are organized very similar to the way you did. I have one small drawer that is all I just kind of, in my brain, it's for creating or destroying. That's the drawer. So it's got the little saws. It's got the pin vices. It's got the dental tools. It's got the clay shapers. It's got the razors. It's got everything that I'm either going to take away or add to. It's all in that one drawer.
Okay.
So that is one way. That way it's got all the sharp stuff in there too. So I'm not digging around in a different drawer and poking or stabbing or cutting myself. I just know that in that drawer you need to be safe and look at what you're grabbing, John. So
that's cool. Let's talk about some hobby, maybe nice to haves.
Nice to haves.
Or I don't know. This I can only think of one, so let's talk about that one. I don't have one in my area, but I would love to have a battery vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Because like when I'm working with dirt, when I'm working with pigments, when I'm working with sprues, there are so many little bits that get everywhere, and I love to just vacuum them up.
Zunk.
You don't need a super powerful one, just a little thing that can suck up some dirt, essentially. That'd be nice to have.
I don't have one either. We have one of those Dyson hand vacs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That would be amazing for that, but they're
Yes.
like $300.
If you get the pet one, they're more, dude.
Yeah.
They're very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't need that. Like I think Black & Decker makes like a small one that's like whatever. That would work just
Just one
fine.
of those little hand dust busters you could probably get at the Goodwill or something too. It doesn't
Yeah,
need to be
dude.
super powered.
No.
In fact, you don't want it too powerful because then you're just like, you have a couple of little bits that you haven't put that dude's arms on yet, and you're sucking up stuff like, Sunk.
Yeah, gone.
So much for your arm, buddy.
I have a flush mounted garbage can. I would say don't do that. I think it's more trouble than it's worth because of the amount of shit I knock into there that doesn't need to be thrown away.
Yeah.
It's greater than the amount of times that I've actually like swept shit into it.
I guess if you had the little hand vac too, you wouldn't need to sweep things in.
Yeah. Whenever I put my cutting mat away, I do like taco it and kind of like bang it into my garbage can.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice, but you don't need that to do that operation.
Yeah, you're
So I
right.
would say if you're thinking about that, just don't do it. It's not worth it. If you got animals, the cats especially, that get on your desk, it is lost paint waiting to happen.
Having a garbage can within arm's reach though is a big deal. Mm-hmm. There's never a time where you don't have like 5 seconds free where you can just toss something under there.
Yeah.
You know, the sprues or the palette paper or whatever it is.
Yes.
And not have to leave the room to go do that. And if you have like, little kids or pets that get in the garbage and stuff, you can get ones that just get a closey lid one.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just flip the lid open, toss it in there and go. Yeah, that's a big one. Is not having a garbage can in your area is kind of a pain.
Sure. Compressors for airbrushes, if you have one. I've been thinking this forever. I've never done it. I would love for the dial that shows pressure to be visible. If it's sitting on the floor, it's kind of hard to see. And I've always thought for the longest time, if it was just like higher up, like closer to me, I could see it and also adjust it more easily. Because I want to know what PSI I'm shooting at so that I can tell people, but also that I can make a mental note of what's working for me and then, kind of remember more easily. When it's down there, I can't really see very nicely, and I'm kind of just like making little micro adjustments to kind of like fine tune what I need it to do. So if it was higher up, closer to you,
So you're thinking like a floating shelf or something?
kind of, yeah, just
you
like
have here?
that. Or like the knobs kind of just like poking out a little bit. I don't need to see the whole thing, just the front part.
Yeah. What if you had it on like a roller so you could just like pull it out, pull the whole shelf out a little bit,
Yeah.
tweak,
Tweak.
push it back in.
That sounds great.
It also solves an issue of just crap on the floor.
Yes.
Crap on the floor is never a good thing. One, you might break something, you might step on something. It's just a messy mess. People come into your room and it looks like you're a dirty animal, stuff everywhere, with airbrush hoses all over the place. And that's something that I haven't done yet either that I'd like to. I'd like to have some kind of a shelf or a wall mount. So that's off the floor and maybe a little like hook that the the airbrush hose could wrap around and just kind of sit in there nicely when it's not used. And just chuck it back in there so you don't have cords and everything, because cords are another major thing. You have cords everywhere.
Yeah, I hate cords.
Cable management is a little thing, but once you get to like, this is my space, this is where I'm going to be, having some cable management and tying stuff or the little sticky things that you can put the cables in so they're tight around your underside of your desk.
Yeah.
There's not cords everywhere.
Yeah, the amount of cable management products that I own is ridiculous. It's like a tertiary hobby. But that reminded me of another thing. Along the side of the desk that John is sitting on, I have a very long power strip. Yeah. And it's designed that way such that you can have multiple things plugged in over a long space, so there's not too much clutter in one area. Also, there's just like 10 plug-in points, which is nice to have. So having a big old power strip is nice for things like if you want to use a vortex mixer, if you want to use a Dremel, if you want to use a compressor, anything that requires power, it's just nice to be able to have that attached to your desk, so you're not needing to like run extension cords or plug it into the wall and having to like move to the right side of your desk because it got to be close to the wall because your cable is limited, the length is limited. Yeah. Having a power almost in the desk, very nice.
Yeah. I don't have one of these, but what I do is I see your the door handle hole. I drilled a big hole about this same width in the back of my desk in 2 different spots. And then I can run all my lines through that hole so you can't see them and there's no cords coming in your workspace.
Nice.
Through the back, and then that goes down to a power strip below.
Nice.
In the back of the wall by my feet. So that's another thing too, is if it's long term, how are you making sure that you're keeping all the crap off the table that you don't need to be on the table? You're going to get enough stuff on here anyway. Having that vortex mixer with that line run back through there, so it's just at arm's reach with no cord coming anywhere. Yeah. And just and get back to painting. That's really helpful.
Yeah. Let's talk hobby desk size and where you should put your desk. I think ideally you want to be against a wall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's best because you can take advantage of the wall if you're not in like a rental situation, or if you can like put things in the wall. That's super helpful for making the most of the space you have. In terms of desk size, in my brain, I always thought bigger was better. But that isn't necessarily true, especially when it comes to width. If your desk is against a wall and you need to get to stuff on the wall, having a wide desk actually makes it hard to reach. I've had this desk against multiple walls with things on the other wall. Or sorry, whatever. You know what I'm saying. And it's actually hard to get to. I need to actually stand up to get to it. Yeah. So I used a door to make my desk surface, which is pretty common. But it's like 30 odd inches wide, and it actually is difficult to get to the other side. So that's worth thinking about.
Yeah. I feel that 100%. So mine runs an entire wall. It's L-shaped. But I've found that it doesn't need to be any bigger than basically my arm's width. Like put your arms out like an eagle.
Yeah, that's great.
If it's further out than that, what you end up doing is you just put crap on further out and it just collects there. Yeah. It's not stuff you end up really using or needing. And so it's kind of nice from like a short-term storage position. Like as I'm building stuff for my Night Lord's army. As models are built, they go out of arm's reach in a stack over there because I'm going to use those again somewhat soon. I don't need them there. They could easily be in a shoebox somewhere else or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say ideally you'd want your workspace to be more or less your wingspan.
That's great. So, I didn't think about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
If it's less than that, like when I first started painting before I built this space, 1.5 years, my desk was only like probably as wide as a little bit wider than this.
Yeah, I had a little IKEA desk that was like a piece of crap. Yeah.
Yep. And that's fine because the only thing it restricts you on is you're working through a project, the space you have kind of around you for all your other stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't have as much space for things to sit out while you're using them. Like your big thing of mineral spirits or a whole bunch of paints or whatever. You're kind of restricted in that. Yeah. It doesn't make you a worse painter. It doesn't mean you can't accomplish as much or more than anybody else. Yeah. So any size space that's, like I said, a card table is a great example of the width of a card table. You can make that work. But don't think just if you had an infinite budget and an entire room to do whatever you wanted, that a giant desk was the way to go.
Yeah.
You kind of find quickly that it's like that. Actually, I'd rather this be more like a shelving unit or a cabinet with doors that inside I could get to stuff I don't need to get to all the time.
Yeah.
But it's just more storage. And I've found that's like more storage, whether it's for models, whether it's for gear, whether it's for whatever, you'll end up filling it up.
Yeah.
More kits, more boxes of
Yeah.
models unpainted.
Also, like the Alex Steele YouTuber intentionally doesn't put horizontal surfaces in his workspace because no matter what, shit always collects on horizontal surfaces.
That's true.
So the bigger your desk, basically the more of a fly trap it's going to be for just crap to put things on. And if you're in a shared space, it might be things that aren't even yours, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So that can be a thing. Also on desks, let's talk desk height. Let's talk desk sturdiness. Card tables, while it's usable, not sturdy at all.
Right.
Right? I've painted on them. It's good, but I wouldn't want that to be a long-term thing if possible. This thing, that wasn't very confidence-inspiring. But when I'm sitting here with my elbows on the table, is rock solid. I think having a sturdy desk for miniature painting is probably more of an important thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. You need to be able to brace yourself, feet flat on the floor, and you're just minimizing any wobbliness, whether it's from yourself or it's from the desk.
Yeah, and I think I might know why my desk is wobbling a little bit, and that is regarding desk height. So this was 19 inches high, which is the typical height, not 19 inches. It's whatever height is like a dinner table. That's like the common one. That's how I made the height of this desk.
It's like 25, I think.
I can't remember what it is. This is like a standard thing. And then I boosted my chair up all the way, and I used to paint on my elbows. And I wanted the desk to be lower, basically like touching the tops of my thighs, because the lower I can have the model, the more I can get over it with my head, right? If my hands are at the height of my face, I can't really get over the model unless I rotate it toward myself. That's something to think about if you're painting on your elbows. If you're not an elbow painter, then you want to put your elbows maybe on the arms of your chairs, or you want to hug them into your rib cage and have your wrists resting on the desk, which means your desk needs to be maybe higher and you need to be lower. And that's what I did with I have these like leg risers on my desk that raised it up 6 inches, and now I can like go Hobbit mode and I can paint right here with my wrists on my desk. And I've thought at times that maybe this would get uncomfortable. Like I'd need like a little bit of a cushion right here. And so far I'm okay. I don't need anything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question on the height. I think having something that's flexible, because like you said, over time, you may change your position in how you paint, but you're still going to have that stabilization in some form or another. And if you don't, you better start doing that like Denzel does.
Yes.
And having some flexibility. Obviously, your chair can go up and down.
Yeah.
You can't once your table is there, that's kind of stuck. To me, the biggest thing is not working at a space where you have to hunch over and have bad posture in order to paint in a way that is comfortable and good for you. Because over time, that's going to do a number on you.
Yeah.
So having a good chair, I think, is something to think about. Doesn't have to be the best chair, but just something that's comfortable over time. And then the height.
Bro, you talking shit about my chair right now?
Your chair smells like shit.
Does it?
I just imagine it does.
I'm going to give
never
it a whiff
sniffed it.
right. I'm going to get a whiff right now.
All right. Give me the smell. I should have tooted in that before he did this. Your face says it smells like Funyuns and dog poop.
There's the faintest smell of ass.
it's just generations of ass buildup.
Generations.
Condensed. It's like a sous vide machine. It's like sucks it all in.
All right. Yeah. A good chair is probably a good thing.
I went with a kitchen countertop height for mine. I thought it would be better because it's higher. It's 32 inches is standard kitchen countertop height. And that way I wouldn't have to lean over very much. In hindsight, I don't know if it's the perfect solution. It's not a bad solution. I don't necessarily regret it. But you have to take into account that your chair has to be able to get up high enough. And if you're a short person, then your feet are going to be dangling. So you almost want like a step stool or something because you need that for stabilization. Mm-hmm. And so that height is okay. I don't necessarily say you need it. I did it mostly for cost reasons. Like it was cheaper for me to have all like the cabinets from, a prefab Lowe's is where I got it from. Place, couple cabinets. I kind of put my own countertop on it, a cheap laminate countertop that's sturdy and resistant to everything for your kitchen. It's going to be fine for what we need it for, and I got that space done fairly well. Now, I kind of wish it was about 3-4 inches lower, but I think it still works. So, yeah, just keep in mind the height and the comfortability.
The counter thing is interesting because isn't the edge of a counter rounded?
It is.
So I think that'd be nicer for the way I paint because mine is like a 90-degree corner.
Yeah, it is. It is very nice for that.
So I was thinking I'll just take a router with a little round over bit and just kind of zip right on its edge, just make it nice and round.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that then you sand it really well, and then you put paint and poly over it so you don't splinter yourself.
Yeah, because this is the inside of this door is not what the outside material is. It's like a composite or OSB or something like that inside.
Yeah, you might want to do just a shallow curve then, because if you dig into that,
I have to like hit it with resin and sand it, hit it with resin to make it like a smooth thing.
It's always gonna be chipping away.
Yeah. All right, we're thinking about.
Or just get a pool noodle and cut one side of the pool noodle and stick the pool noodle against.
I got bumpers on my desk.
Oh baby. Okay, I want to talk really briefly about lights.
Yeah.
My opinion on lights has slightly changed. Not so much of what's good. You actually want a cool light for something around 5,000.
That's close to daytime, yeah?
To daytime.
Somewhere in the 5,000 to 5,500 Kelvin range.
The one thing that I have changed my opinion on, and when I'm in the process of building a space to allow for this, is the location of the lights. Usually we paint with the lights directly above us. And what that does is it's forming a shadow on the mini from directly above. But your eyes are coming at a different angle.
Yes.
So you'd like, at least in my mind, you'd like the light to be almost as if it's right over your shoulders. And a large light so it kind of can encompass all the model. But that way you're seeing the light, you're seeing the model, the light hitting straight the same direction as your eyes. So you're seeing naturally what is there on the model, not what shadows are being cast from a light from above. So you're seeing a truer version of what the model looks like.
Yeah.
Do
Sometimes
you
people
agree?
I think I agree. But I think I mostly agree because I make videos of what I'm painting. Well, I don't know. I was just watching Jose Da Vinci? Jose, something with a D. Angel Herald is his partner. I started a YouTube channel. And he was painting a black cloak, and I was watching him do that. And the first thing he starts out with is he says, okay, look at how the light's being cast on this cloak that's just flat black right now. Based on the light from the lamp, I'm going to hold it exactly here and scratch in some very large, dark gray brown highlights. And then once I'm done doing that, now I can move. Okay, so now I can get back to painting how I want to paint now that I've sketched it out. And he does that because he has a lamp probably more top down. Mm-hmm. Now, I assume you could do that if the lamp was on your shoulder, but it might be more awkward. You might need to kind of like angle it toward the thing and kind of get on the side of it and kind of do stuff like that. So I guess it depends. If you're someone who uses the lamp in that capacity, maybe you want it more top down. But I think in general, a big, soft light, maybe you can split the difference and have it kind of top down, but kind of sneak in there is a good thing. That'll give you a nice clinical image of the miniature to paint.
I think you're right. I think there's a middle ground there.
Yeah.
Just slightly tilted, so you just can see truer forms of what you're painting instead of what the shadows. Because it can be hard to tell, and then you don't even necessarily know until like you set it up to take a nice picture of the model.
Yeah.
And you realize then, it's like, well, there's not as much contrast in darkness and depth in the shadows than I thought.
Yeah.
because the way the light was straight down, it was darker naturally there. So
Yeah.
that'll help.
Let's talk about lights more.
Okay.
So I used to paint a lot as a young kid at a games workshop, and obviously you don't have any lamps there, right?
No.
So I was like, how was I able to do that? And the thing is, the store has shop lights essentially, or they have like a drop ceiling and they have like panels that are like giant lights. And I'm like, okay, can hobbyists take advantage of that at home? And one thing I set up was a shop light that was hung from my ceiling on chains. And I put a bunch of CFL tubes in there, and that was great. It was kind of far away from me, and it was big. And the bigger your light, the softer it'll be because it'll cast less harsh shadows. Harsh shadows come from a light that is small and also intense, like the sun. If you imagine the sun, it's incredibly far away. It is very tiny in the sky, and it's also very, very bright, so it casts very harsh shadows. So the bigger you can make your light in comparison to your subject, which is a miniature, not that hard, the softer the shadows would be on the model.
That's some profound statements.
Yeah, it's kind of destructive. Obviously, you need to I had to drill like hooks into my ceiling and shit, and like run a cable, and it was kind of weird.
Yeah, because the standard hobby light. So if you just want to use like an IKEA light, what we're all kind of used to,
totally works.
Totally works.
Totally works.
Totally works. Yeah.
Totally works. No, not a third time.
Totally works.
Okay, there it is.
We're there. We're there. Is there anything else?
I don't know. You're getting a little sleepy, so I think we're getting to the end of this part.
No, I'm not sleepy. I'm just stretching and yawning.
I'm sleepy. I'm just
so sleepy.
You need a USB powered mini fridge that can fit one can of soda at a time.
Yes, just one.
Yeah.
And you need a intricate connection of tubes that shoots those one at a time from your regular fridge. You can shunk, and just one shows up.
Yeah, and if your table could do like a James Bond where it flipped in a 180 and then turned into a 6x4 gaming table, that would also be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, complete with terrain too.
Yeah, but it needs to then be on a rail system that then it shoots it from your wall to the middle of the room.
Yeah.
Zunk.
Yeah.
Or just get a second gaming table, because that's probably cheaper.
Yeah. Or, okay, instead of the USB powered soda fridge, just get those cool things that you get at like movie theaters with like the thing. You just kind of, what do you want? Coke? Okay.
Oh,
a little
yeah.
gun. Boom. Just build that into the desk.
Yeah, the fountain station thing.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
That's good. All right. I see where we're going.
Okay. Well, let's take this up to 11.
Okay.
What if
What if?
you just had a crown? And the crown, instead of being adorned with many precious gems, was just a headband with paint bottles on it.
Yes.
And each of those paint bottles could be grabbed off your head.
Yeah.
You don't need to leave ever. You're just, boom. Oh, I know. Dark Sea Blue is back here behind my right
you
ear.
can't see the paint.
No, you need to memorize the location of each one.
Okay.
And so the paint band is what we're going to term this.
It's like if Batman were stupid, he would put his utility belt on his forehead.
Yeah, because we don't have time to go down to our waist.
No.
We're
My
just
hands can only stay here.
Yeah. So there the paint band.
Yeah.
That's what you really need.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
If you had a TV the width of your desk just right in front of you.
Okay.
So you could be showered in electronic light just constantly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So full, like a 65-inch TV.
Yeah.
Well, like 8 inches from your face.
Yeah, just constantly playing like season 3 of The Office.
Yes. Okay.
That's like the screensaver. It's just
God.
Okay, this is stupid. All right, on to the news.
Speaking of lights, we have lights in the news today.
Oh my God. Okay, I want to maybe take a break here because the new social media person from Redgrass Games reached out to me and they were like really nice. They're like, "Hey, I appreciate that you don't want to make a video you don't want to make a video advertising a product you don't like." And I'm like, "Thank you for telling me that." And then they fucking do this. They make it's not like they didn't do anything bad, but it's just kind of funny how they advertised this thing. Redgrass Games has, I don't know if it's upcoming Kickstarter. a hobby lamp that they have. Yeah, it's going to be on Kickstarter soon, mid 2021. And, it looks like a fine lamp. Like, it looks similar to the one that you have. It's a skinny LED thing on an articulating arm. And it's just like the advertising words they use. Experience color like never before. Full spectrum LED for the best possible color rendering. Simply put, it's the best you will find anywhere. And I love this quote that is attributed to no one.
Quotes around it, but no source.
Yeah. No other task lamp can deliver. No other one can deliver the exact color rendering as precise as the red grass task lamp. It is truly one of a kind. Lighting perfected, bruh. Like, you are seriously huffing your own juices. Like, this is ridiculous, right? It cannot deliver on all of these things that it's delivering on.
No,
there's no way.
We
a $30 lamp? No way.
Is it $30?
I'm going to guess it's 30, 20, 40, somewhere in there, maybe. 50, 60? What do you think?
I was going to say we need to do a bet on how much this thing is going to go for. My guess is $80.
$80.
That's my guess. What's the name of that lamp that I have?
The popular one that everyone uses?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but I know what it is. It's white.
Yeah, it's going to bug me. But
all the painters have it.
Yep, they're great for travel too, because it's a nice, really clear daylight and it folds down. But anyway, it looks just like one of those.
Every aspect of this avant-garde product. Is it a good thing for your hobby lamp to be avant-garde?
Apparently.
Like, what? Okay, anyways.
We just talked about the size of the light affects.
That's true, yeah. And it's a skinny little
It's a
thing.
skinny little, like a single, I just pictured like a single LED strip is inside of that thing.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be enough. Now, if you have OT light, God damn it, I thought of it. OT light, that's the light I'm thinking of.
That's not what I'm thinking of, but that works kind of the same way.
If you have like an OT light will do what this does, and it's a nice light. The problem is it's not bright enough. It's not a big enough light.
Yeah.
Now, can you paint by it? Can you become a award-winning painter by painting under an OT light? Absolutely, you can. My thoughts are, if this does go around the $80 mark, you're better off investing that money in an actual nice big light.
Yeah, like there is a task lamp that's not the OT light one, that is a similar form factor to this that a lot of miniature painters use, and it is kind of in that $80 price range.
The one like Emil has.
Yeah, that's the one. That's
Yep.
the one. Like Ben Comments has it. Like they kind of all have it. They put stickers on it. They always bring it to cons. I always see it. I'm looking at this first image and it looks large. It looks like it can really get high, which is like, I guess it's a good thing. If this has, I always think it's funny whenever lights have like, you can change the brightness and the color temp, and it's like, I'm going to put it on max brightness. I'm going to put it at a color temp and it's never going to fucking move. So like that added functionality like really isn't that useful. And
Really?
in fact,
it can change its temperature and brightness?
some can't. I've seen lights that can't, like hobby lights specifically, that can do that. And what's funny is that decision makes your lights actually weaker, because the way bicolor lights work is, say you have 100 LEDs, right? 50 of them are warm, 50 of them are cold. And to get max brightness, you need to shoot right in the middle at like the 4400 Kelvin mark. But if you veer to the left of that or the right of that at all, your light is actually losing power because you're using less LEDs.
Yep.
So actually, it'd be smarter if they just picked a static temperature and just stuck to it.
Yeah, that, and you go with, we're making a statement and we're making a product to be best for this purpose.
Yeah.
Then you should put
know
your foot in the sand and say, this is what works best. You
Yeah.
shouldn't have a choice.
Yeah. So I love you guys at Red Grass Games, but yeah, the advertising material, I think, is just it's so OTT. It's so ridiculous. Like what they are advertising, it just can't be true.
It might be a solid light.
It could be, yeah, but it's not lighting redefined. Come on, bro. All right. Anyways, no shitting on Red Grass Games.
Okay.
They make fine stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Witch Hunter?
Witch Hunter?
With the derpiest looking daughter ever? The face is so weird.
Vince is still staying true to the fact that he thinks it's the way that they painted it.
Okay.
which may be the case.
I don't think so. I mean, obviously you can improve it with paint, but I think the sculpture's a little bit weird.
So we're talking about new revealed Witch Hunter models for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, and the implications of this.
Oh, City of Azir, I believe, is where they're from.
Oh, okay. So they're just like...
Yeah, from a gaming perspective, I don't think they're actually going to be pulling out a full army. I think this will be a new city within Cities of Sigmar.
Okay.
And models that are a handful of models that are kind of focused towards this city, and then you can use other Cities of Sigmar models and stuff. That's my guess. More of a Witch Hunter, Demon Hunter, Vampire Hunter themed version, but they're not going to pull a whole army out of this. Mm-hmm. That's my thought. But they are really cool design. They really fall in line with the Witch Hunter that's in the Cursed City box.
Yeah.
I really like that. Just give us a classic, interesting fantasy style models within the capacity of the new GW model making abilities.
Yeah.
And it does that so well. I think that they're really, really cool. Also, they have multiple options within these.
Oh.
Like the chick, you don't like her face? She's got an awesome big Witch Hunter hat that's pushed down.
Did I miss that? Was that in that post? Then like the new Model Monday post?
I don't know if it's... Well, if you go to Warhammer Community, you can find it.
Okay.
But also the dad... So he's got, in one hand, he can either hold a torch or a sword. In the other hand, he can either hold a gun or a sword. I don't know if he's got any swatches for his head, but you can have him equipped differently.
Cool.
And the girl's got a different head swap, and I think something else too. So that's not what GW's been doing lately. It's all been mono pose. This goes together like this.
Okay.
The most that they've had is things like the Mortek Guard. You can either put a sword or a
spear, maybe. Yeah.
But those were all like you just put the whole arm in.
Yeah.
This is like a hero model with just slight tweak options. Like when they used to do, and they probably still do it for like Space Marine lieutenants and stuff, and they got the helmeted version. And the regular head version.
Yeah. That's cool.
I like it
appreciate
giving
that.
you different options for weapons, though.
Absolutely.
In an otherwise monopose kit. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that. So you think it's going to be a city thing, Cities of Sigmar thing?
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting because, to me, Cities of Sigmar just seems like a throwaway thing. It just seems like we just want to make people happy that played these races in Warhammer Fantasy Battle by making them all just a giant soup fucking rule book. So it's cool that you think they're going to put like more effort into it, which I could see totally happening. Yeah, to me, I guess a more ridiculous thing is like a Witch Hunter army. Like that's kind of like that's spreading a little bit too much. That's spreading. What is it? What's the quote here? Too little butter over too much bread. That's an idea that's cool.
The Bilbo quote.
But might not apply to an entire army. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, hell, they did it with Sisters. They took a ridiculous thing and just cranked it up to 11.
Yeah, but what's the ridiculous thing? Female religious zealots?
No, the ridiculous thing is the flagellants and the giant floating, like, procession of a funeral.
Yeah, but what's the idea? They're trying to stretch too far.
I don't think they're stretching the idea too far. I think just the way when they expanded the range beyond the awesomeness that is the basic troops, the basic aesthetic for the models, and like put it into like their war machines and their bigger models and all that stuff. It just suddenly like it crumbles and it just looks too silly to me.
Are you telling me if we got a Witch Hunter army, you would not want a horse-drawn carriage that had a fucking organ in it?
No, I wouldn't want that.
No, you wouldn't want that?
No, I wouldn't. Okay. I would want like a big old like cat ballista thing where like someone's cranking this giant freaking ballista with the giant stake launcher and stuff. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, that's fun. Oh man,
I don't
organ
think so.
Pipes could shoot stakes out, dude. It could be like mortars, dude. Yeah, you hit a chord and it's like. I kind of like that. All right. Anything else you want to say?
Reach out to us, GW Design Team. We'll tell you how it is.
Yes. Scale 75 is, as of April 2nd, was the latest thing that I found on their Facebook. Advertising casting services. And both this and the Redgrass Games, I saw you farting. Both this and the Redgrass Games things are both emails from our viewers. So if you got some news and you want to send it out to us, news@trappedunderplastic.com is the way to go. We'll talk about it on the podcast possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there are supplying casting as a service. And also they have a whole services section on their website, which also includes packaging, making packaging for stuff. I don't know how recent this was that they added it to their website, but it's the first time that we've noticed it, and it's interesting. So if you are maybe Spanish or maybe Italian or like in that area, it's nice when your caster is kind of like local to you. Check that out. I think it might do some cool stuff for you.
That's really cool. It's nice. It's like opening up the doors for more people to get into that realm of making their own miniatures, because there's a lot of in the back end. That's a lot of investment and technical side and all that stuff. There's not a lot of companies that have all that's needed to do it.
Yeah. I will say, as a word of caution, getting into bed with a caster that has their own model range that they care about more than yours, undoubtedly, sometimes doesn't work out. I've tried twice, and it's not worked twice. So, worth thinking about.
You're Ofer.
I am. I'm Ofer. Ofer 2, bud. Okay. Last thing. Cursed City, bigger than Indominus. What? Never.
Sacrilege to claim such a thing.
How dare you?
I pre-ordered Cursed City through a online distributor. Not a distributor, but a company that takes pre-orders and stuff.
They will not be named.
A big one.
Big boy.
A big hitter. Heavy hitter.
Is this related?
Ball sack swinging.
Okay.
You got no marbles. And I placed the order, and he was like, okay, it's coming out fast and heavy, and all this stuff is going on. And when he came back to me to confirm my order, and this was just as of this recording, this was just either yesterday or the day before. So the pre-orders had been up for like 5 days. And he said, I didn't push him on this, but he said that the pre-orders for Cursed City, the numbers are bigger than Indominus was.
That particular person you bought it from.
Yes.
Okay. That's indicative.
Right. And it's hearsay. I get it. It's hearsay. It's one person.
Is it though? It's not just one person. It's one person who runs a company that does pre-orders for the product.
And they
have
do
some
lot.
stats. They have some stats.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. I don't care one way or the other if it beats Indominus or doesn't beat Indominus. The fact that this is so popular is a good thing.
Yeah. We're going to see a lot of Soulblight Great Lord armies.
I don't know.
No?
I think we're gonna, but I don't know if it's gonna be as many as these numbers indicate. Because a lot of people, they want it. The models are awesome. The box is awesome. The game looks cool.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean they necessarily want to play vampires. Because remember, you're the good guys in the box, not the actual cool people.
That's true. I suppose I just figure most people buy GW products for the minis.
Yeah,
right?
of course they do.
And the majority of the models in that box
The games aren't any good.
are vampires and evil ghouls and stuff like that. So maybe not. The heroes are also awesome.
They are awesome.
That fucking wood elf. Can I just be salty for a second?
Yes.
Why did you send me a Cursed City box, GW? God damn it! All right, I'm done. I gotta buy mine like everyone else? Jesus Christ. Speaking of, I'm getting mine. Either first thing tomorrow or deep into the night.
Tonight?
In an alleyway.
Yeah, you need to go out in the light of the full moon.
Yeah.
And wear your Matrix leather trench coat.
It would not be the first time I've done that to get a model like literally 12 hours early.
Mm-hmm. It's like going to a movie premiere at midnight on Thursday.
Kinda, yeah.
It's like standing outside the GameStop on release day, an hour before it opens. Like, it's something cool about that.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it first.
Jesus Christ.
Other than Goobs. Goobs got it way before all of us.
Goob's painting it up. He painted 2 characters.
God, Goobs hitting that ground running.
Yeah, dude. He painted the captain in the Witch Hunter. I watched that video.
Yeah, me too. Good job, Goobs. You jerk.
All right. We're jealous of you. I mean, like, I am, honestly.
Yeah, I wanted to paint them. I was like, when I was figuring out what I was going to do for this video, for
Did you consider
one,
painting one of the models?
I was like, man, I didn't have anything set in stone for this video. And so I was like, man, if I had Curse City model right now, I could be facing Curse City for this.
Yeah.
And I can't because GW doesn't like free advertisement.
God. I could rant for a while about that, but we're not. That is the end of the news segment. Segment.
Samsonite.
All right. Welcome to the end of the podcast. We're happy to have you along this journey.
And we hope that you go watch Training Day.
If you want to support the podcast,
What can they do?
I want you to go to the...
What can they...
Are you done? Yeah. I want you to go to the tallest building in your city with a megaphone and shout from the rooftops, "Turp Thunder, please do it." Maybe like 3 or 4 times. No.
Yeah.
Don't do that. You might get in trouble with the law.
Breaking the law.
If you actually want to support us, you can do that multiple ways. You can buy our merch, which we're not wearing right now. But
Trust us, it exists.
It exists. It's linked in the show notes and below in the description to our Teespring. You can also support us on Patreon and get access to an extended episode of the podcast, which we talk about fun things like a favorite miniature that we have found from someone else in the community in the last 2 weeks. Talk about new things we've tried in the hobby and what went right, what went wrong. We also chat about giving feedback to one of our viewers. So obviously, as being a patron, you can give us your models for feedback, and you can also
mail them to us. Give us your models.
Yes, we keep them.
We keep them forever.
And you can also do another thing that I can't remember, so I'm going to keep speaking until I remember it. It is suggesting topics for the podcast. Today was one from Anthony.
Anthony!
Thank you, Anthony! We appreciate that a lot. You can also tell our podcast.
Tell our podcast.
You can talk to it. You can tell
it grows like a plant.
You can, I'm fucking butchering this. You can tell your nerd friends about our podcast and give us a rating on wherever you listen to podcasts, whether that's Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Google Podcasts or any of the other weird ones like iHeartRadio apparently has one now.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Yeah.
Are they the one? No, Spotify is the one that has Joe Rogan.
Spotify, yeah, that's the one.
iHeartRadio.
Waiting for that Spotify money.
Come on, Spotify.
We
will go exclusive.
Yeah.
For $10 million.
Yeah. Just a cool 10 milli.
Yeah, that's like 5% of what Joe Rogan got. We're worth that.
I guess we just keep telling ourselves that it'll become true someday.
Yeah, I think that's the goal.
Okay.
Or we'll be living under a bridge under I-35, talking into old bean cans to each other, not connected to any kind of technology.
Oh, like with little strings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just regressing to childhood.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome to Trapped Under Overpass. This is Meth John.
The upgraded version.
I never sleep.
All right, you got anything else you want to tell the goody peepees?
Just that hard cookies are best cookies. You're all special because you're a goody peepee. And we're thinking of you until we next catch you on the
Flippity Flop.